Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura's Handmade Haven. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. I am so excited about the project I'm going to share with you today. This is going to be completely free. I don't need you to sign up for anything. I don't need you to subscribe to the channel. I don't need you to do anything. If you want this document, you can have it. The link is in the description box below. And if you're like me, then you may be very excited about this as well. So if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I love my planners. And I started a few years ago with the Lori Holt planner, and they don't make these anymore. And I'm very sad about that because I loved this planner. Now, I will say I didn't love the price on this planner, but I loved the layout. I loved this hard book cover. I loved the spiral ring. All of those things, loved, loved, loved. Now, as I've progressed in my plannerness, I've moved on to like a graphic planner, and these are also spiral bound, really nice. They have all the months. The tabs are laid out here for you on the side, and they have really cool, let me find a page, really cool weekly layouts, and they give you some just like top goals and things like that on the pages. But between this one and this one, they have all the things I like and some of the things I don't. So what I've done for 2026 is I have created my own, and I'm going to share it with you. So I went on Amazon to get this cover. They come in a lot of different shades, a lot of different styles. You're looking for an A5 planner cover, or A5 binder is what you're gonna want. It is a 6-ring binder, but the rings are not like evenly spaced. You have 3 and 3, okay? So you need an A5 binder cover or planner cover, and really you can just put that in on Amazon. I'll put the link down below for this one in case you really like this one. But that's what you're looking for, is an A5 binder or A5 planner cover. So you're gonna need that because I've set up all my sheets in like half sheet form. So when you print these out on 8.5 by 11, this is one page and this is one page, and you're gonna cut these apart. Now I printed mine all double-sided. Now there are 2 links down below because one of them is a great big file with 172 pages in it, and the other one has like 14 or 16. The smaller file is like the extra pages. So like, let's say you're really into budgeting and you really want a bunch of budgeting pages. Well, you can download this extra file, and there's a budget tracker. There's also a crafty goal tracker. There's a couple pages that are included in the big file just in case you want another, I don't know, for whatever reason, you want this in something else, or maybe you love this little quote and you just want the smaller file. There's also a color coding system because I color code my planners. So if you do that as well, there's a sheet for that. There's also a 2026 and 2027 small calendar view. I did put in the 2026 common holidays. Not all holidays are listed on there. Don't come at me to tell me which one's there and which one's not, because I know they're not all there. I randomly just chose the ones that really kind of coordinate with my work and school life. So those are the ones you're getting as well. And then I have like a monthly goal tracker in case you are really into tracking your monthly goals. And then we have personal goals, creative goals, yearly goals, and then we also have dates to remember. All of those things are just extra sheets in those extra in that extra file that you can download, and you can print as many as you want, and you can add those into the main binder file, or you can just keep them separate in whatever. Maybe you just want to create your own budget tracker or your crafty goal tracker. And so you just want to like kind of like make your own thing going on. So let me show you what is in the main file so you know what you're getting yourself into. All right, in the main file, again, it's 172 pages long. It will print out on 43 8.5 by 11 sheets. And if you want to know where that number came from, you take 172, divide it by 4, because that's how many sheets you're getting on each 8.5 by 11 sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you take that, so you take that 172 divided by 4, and you have 43 sheets that you'll be printing out. So if you don't want to print out that many pages at your home, then you definitely could send this file to like Staples or FedEx, and they would print it for you. Make sure you tell them to print it in booklet format, and we'll go through that in just a minute too. So let's flip through here and just show you what's included in the main file. So in the main file, we do have this cover page that just says this planner belongs to, and it has one of my favorite quotes of all time about the man in the arena by Theodore Roosevelt. And then the next page is also another one of my favorite little quotes, sayings, thought-provoking items, I guess. And it just goes through, let's have enough happiness to keep you sweet, and all of the other things. I put this in one of my binders a few years ago, and I loved it so much that I just wanted to put that in this file for you guys in case you also wanted to have enough in the coming year. So then the next page I was telling you about is the color coding system page, and this is how I'm using it. So I just put down what it was and the color, and I just made a little box in there, and I'm using the Pilot G2 gel pens. So all of those are in here, and those are my color coding system for the year. And then, like I said, you have the 2026 and 2027 small calendar view, so you can kind of look in advance and see where dates fall in 2027. And then you have 2026 dates to remember. These are just main holidays, not all holidays are in there, so just know that. And then I have yearly goals. So if I have some yearly goals for 2026, I can put those down here. Personal, creative, health, and finance goals for 2026. And then I have some dates to remember pages. Again, all of that is in the main full planner file. So look for that in the description box, and this is what you're going to get. You also have a few notes pages, and you can print out as many note pages as you want if you want to add more of those. Remember, those are in the extra files, or if you have Adobe, you can open up the page view and just like duplicate your pages. This one is not, I have a content tracker in mind because that is what I'm going to be using for my YouTube stuff. That's not in the main file, so sorry if you have if you're doing YouTube stuff, you have to make your own tracker for that. Okay, and then I have a couple more notes pages and the crafty goals and the type. So like I do more than one type of craft, right? So if I have crafty goals for the year, I'm gonna put my quilting here, my Cricut here, and I'll just list them, and then I'll be able to start, list my start date and the day I complete it as well, so I can check it off the list. A few more notes pages because I wanted some places just to sketch some ideas. And then we're getting into the monthly breakdown. So for each month, you're going to have a monthly goal tracker. You're going to be able to list your top 3 priorities. You're going to think about a focus word or a theme for that month and write that down. And that's going to be your focus. And then at the end of the month, you're going to come back to this page and just briefly list what went well, what challenged you, and what you're going to adjust for the next month. And then again, you have personal, creative, health, and notes for each month that you can write down some high-level goals. Then you have a 2-page full month spread, and this is just the entire month. And then you have a notes column over here. And then in addition to the monthly view, you also have a weekly view. And this is what every week of the year is going to look like. So you're going to have one little section for each day, so you can write down the things you need to get done. And then you also have a high-level to-do list for the week. So if especially with school and work and family and all the other things that I do, maybe I have some high-level things I need to complete that week. So I'm going to put that on my to-do list, and when I get them done, I can just check them off. Maybe these things aren't necessarily due on each day, but there's something I need to get done for the week. So then at the end of the week, you can decide, did you bring joy? So I want everyone to focus this next year, and so I'm hoping this will help all of us to bring joy to someone or something or somewhere in the world. So did you bring joy, and did you find joy? So hopefully you also found some joy, and this can be anything. Maybe you had the most amazing cup of coffee and just really brought you 5 minutes of joy that you otherwise wouldn't have had. So just whatever those items are, just jot those down in the boxes at the bottom of each weekly page. So like I said, you're going to have a weekly view for each week of the year. And then again, when you get to the next month, it's the same thing. Monthly goal tracker, monthly end reflection, your goals sheet, your monthly spread, and then again, the months. And now each month does have a quote on here. I tried to be pretty selective with what quotes I was selecting for each month, but I can't tell you there was truly a rhyme and reason for it, but I just wanted to have a nice little quote for each month. If you're like me, I'm sure you're going to sticker this up a lot, and that's going to be fun. I would love to see your all's decorated planners throughout the year, so make sure you share those with me. So all of the months are all through here. And then at the back of the planner, I have a couple more notes pages. Now, I have reordered my planner just a little bit just because of the notes pages, and I wanted some of that, the crafty goals and stuff at the beginning of my planner. So you'll want to look at the file because I didn't do that in the file that I'm sharing with you. You'll want to look at the file and kind of decide if you need any of those pages reorganized. But let's look at the file so I can explain to you how you're going to print this, if you're going to print it at home or if you're going to send it out to be printed, the things you need to tell them to make sure they print it correctly for you. Okay, so when you go to Google Drive, when you go to the link down below, you're going to have a screen that opens. It looks kind of similar to this, and you're just going to download this file. So you're going to download it first and save it to your machine wherever you need to save it, and then you're going to open it in Adobe Acrobat. Now, if you have a full version of Adobe, you'll be able to open the pages on the side, and you'll probably be able to reorder the pages however you want. And you can just do that by dragging and dropping. So like I said, I wanted my craft tracker and my budget tracker and things like that. I wanted those at the front of my planner. So I basically just drug them up to wherever I wanted them to be and drop them back in. So I'm not going to mess with this file very much because I don't want to, mess up the order for you guys. This planner is set up to be an A5 size. So that means these pages are 5.5 wide and 8.5 tall. So that means when you print this, it's going to print 4 pages per sheet. If you send this out to your printer or you print it yourself, you want to print it as a booklet. So let me show you how to do that. When you open up this print dialog, you're just going to look right here and it should say booklet. You're going to booklet print this file and it's going to print to both sides, and you're going to want sheets 1 through 43. That prints the entire 172 pages because remember 172 divided by 4 is 43. And then you're going to leave the binding on the left-hand side and everything is set up for you. Now, it's going to look weird when it prints, but just trust the process. It's going to look weird because page 1 and 2 are not going to be right next to page 3 and 4 because it's got to print it like a booklet. So when you cut those pages in half and stack them back together, they will be in the correct order. So my advice to you, if you're printing this at home, is just print the entire thing, print it as a booklet, wait till the entire thing is printed out, and then keeping it in order, cut the sheets in half and stack them back in the same order. And then everything will be in the right order if you do it like that. If you try to print just like 2 pages and then print the next 2 pages, it's going to get very confusing and your planner is not going to work out correctly. Now, if you have a printer that does not allow you to print on both sides, then you can go ahead and just print this at whatever size you want. If you print as a booklet, it's probably going to be a little confusing to you, but you're just going to have to work your way through it. Like I said, this is a free file, so I'm not going to supply a ton of tech support on this, but if you have general questions, definitely leave them in a comment below, and I will try to help you out as best as I can. My advice to you is if you have not done a booklet printing before with a PDF, then I would highly suggest you send this out to either Staples or FedEx or a print center near you and have them print it for you and tell them you want it printed in booklet format, and ask them if they will go ahead and cut the pages in half, because then they'll cut them in half and stack them in the correct order for you. So that would be my advice on that. And then let me show you a few of the tools you're going to need if you do this at home and you decide to print and punch this yourself. Okay, so you have your A5 binder, and so you have 6 rings. You have 3 here and 3 here. Now, this is 8.5 by 5.5. So if you don't want a 6-ring binder, if you want a 7-ring binder, I think that will work as well. I also feel like a 3-ring binder will work, but the key to this is make sure it takes a sheet of paper that's 5.5 by 8.5. So that's what you're really looking for. But this one is A5. A couple other things you might want, if you don't want to make the tabs for the months, I do have a file on Cricut Design Space. If you're a Cricut user, I will share that file with you and you'll be able to print these out. And basically what I did was I printed them out on some sticker cardstock, some of the smart materials, folded them in half, and then I put a clear like vinyl over it. So they are like vinyl tabs. That's my solution to this. You could also get yourself some just like file tabs and put those on there for the months. The other thing you can do is get some A5 dividers. And I got these on Amazon. They were very cost effective. And then those would slip in between your months. If you don't want to create your own tabs, then you could definitely just buy your dividers like these on Amazon and just, stick them in there for your months. All right. So when you get your file printed, I'm just going to show you how to do this really quickly. And these are the extra pages. This is not the big page. This is not the big one. These are just the extra pages, just to show you how to cut them. They're all set up to where all you got to do is take them to the 5.5 inch mark. Let me move you closer. Now these are set up for A5 size. So again, it's 5.5 by 8.5. If I have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, then I'm just basically cutting this in half. And this is double-sided, so I'm just going to cut those right in two at the 5.5 inch mark. And then if I'd printed that big file, what would happen at this point? You can't cut the entire stack at once. 43 pages is too much to cut at once. But you're gonna cut your first stack, put them face down, cut your next stack, put them face down. When you get all the way to the end, it's a booklet, so it's gonna go like this. And everything's going to be in the correct order. Crazy. I don't understand how Adobe knows how to do that. It's just witchcraft, but it works. All right. So then the other thing you might want to get, if you don't want to punch these, if you don't want to punch all 6 holes repeatedly, then you may want to get yourself an A5 punch. And these are set, this one is actually really neat because you can do A5 or A6, and there's a couple other sizes on there you can do as well. So it's kind of neat that you can do all of those in one machine. And then you're just going to slip those in there and punch, and then you have all 6 holes punched at once, which is honestly really nice. And then after these are punched, they're going to slip into your planner cover, your binder, easily. So after I have these all punched out, then you can see that these would just flip right in there. And easy peasy, right? So I hope you guys are excited about this. I've been so excited about getting this together, mostly because I had looked for planners and I just couldn't find one that had everything in it that I wanted and didn't have a lot of extra stuff that I didn't want. So like I said, I just came up with my own little thing. It is going to take some technical skills. So if you have never done anything like this before, there's going to be a learning curve, and I would suggest that you practice on some cheap paper if you're going to print this at home. Otherwise, I would download the file, send it to your copy and print center and tell them you need this printed in booklet form. If you tell them that, they will print it out correctly and it will be great. If you forget to tell them to print it in booklet format, then it's not going to line up. Your months are not going to be right. You're going to have like a week page over here and a month over here, and it's not going to look right at all if you once you have it punched and put into your binder. So make sure you remember to tell them to print it in booklet format. And like I said, it's a PDF, so it's very easy. Everyone should be able to download it. If you've worked with PDFs before and you're comfortable with that, then definitely check out those extra pages and start reordering things and put them together the way you want. Feel free to customize your planner however you see fit, however it will work best for you. If you don't want to take on the huge planner, but you love the idea of those budget tracker pages or the craft goal pages or any of that, please feel free to download both of the files and use whatever out of them that you want. All of it is free and for you to use. If you do pass them on to someone else, please give me credit. Give them a link to my channel. Please don't take credit for the file or any of the content on your own, because it did take me quite a bit of time to get it all together. So just please give me a shout out if you are sharing it out or if you're passing it along to a friend. The other thing you're going to notice about my planner cover, when you go to look on Amazon, this mandala was not on it when I got it. This is a permanent vinyl that I cut out with my Cricut, and then I just applied it onto the binder itself. So super fun. I hope you customize your planner. I hope you enjoy the file. I hope you download it and you print it and you use it and you love it. I would love to hear your comments and suggestions. I do plan on doing another one in 2027. So we're going to learn together what we like and what we don't like. And then maybe in 2027, I will share another file with you guys and we will go from there. So this was super fun. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you use it. Let me know if you use it. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment down below. Feel free to download the files, completely free, no catch, no gimmick. You're not signing up for anything. So just please go get the PDFs and use them at will. Until next time, find joy in all you do, carve out some time for crafting and creating, and remember, it's always better when you make stuff up.